Hello, Geneva. I'm Mayor Kevin Burns, and this is Business Beat. Today we're joined by my good friend, Dr. Matthew Hart of Hart Chiropractic on beautiful West State Street.
Welcome to the office.
Thank you. This is a true pleasure. This is awesome.
Glad to finally be able to show it to you.
I know. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I feel better already being here. I feel better already.
Right?
So this is great.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and
Good.
We're excited to show you as far as what we've been working on over here. So.
Wonderful. Well, it looks lovely.
Well, let me give you a tour.
I'd love it. We're going to take a tour, and I understand we're going to go through some stuff.
We're going to go through
Possibly.
some stuff.
So if I look taller at the end of this broadcast, it's all thanks to you?
That's right.
And feel younger?
Yes.
Lose some pounds?
You betcha.
Better.
Closer to
What are
your
you trying to
ideal
say? My ideal weight was 8th grade. So let's continue. Follow us, folks. Dr. Hart's going to provide the tour. What a great front desk.
Yes, thank you.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting these lovely ladies. And you guys want to say hi to everyone tuning in worldwide?
Hello. Hi.
So you greet everybody that comes in.
Everyone.
And you obviously know your patients and clients well.
Oh yeah.
And when
Know about at least 95% of all the names.
is that right? And how many is it clients or patients? What's that say?
Patients.
How many patients do you have?
A lot.
A lot. That was a detailed answer, of course, folks. A lot. And of course, this is a great location. Convenient.
Great. Perfect.
Isn't it wonderful? And the folks who come in, they're coming in because they just want to remain healthy? Or
Well,
sometimes it's like, oh my God, I've wrenched my back, or oh, I just feel lousy, or...
Oftentimes we have patients that they're coming in because they've got an ache or pain. So they've
Okay.
got neck pain, back pain, headaches. We have patients that come in because they've been diagnosed with a bulging or herniated disc.
Okay.
And so they found out that we have treatment that can help them here with that. So
Interesting.
a lot of times, so they're normally neuromusculoskeletal in nature,
Okay.
as far as so something going on with the muscles of the back or the joints, or as far as the joints of the spine.
Interesting. And Dr. Hart's a graduate of Palmer Chiropractic College in beautiful Quad Cities.
Right.
It's in the Iowa side
Right.
of the Quad Cities.
Right across the river where you went to
I
school.
know. And Palmer is really the father of
Absolutely.
chiropractic medicine.
Absolutely. Yep, that's where it started.
It's
over,
amazing.
Over 120 years ago.
Isn't that wild?
It is. It blew my mind.
And share with everyone tuning in, because it helps me understand as well, evolutionary-wise, chiropractic care has really grown up.
Oh, of course. As far as just as healthcare in general has
Right.
grown, it's changed. So the principles have remained the same.
Okay.
Right? So the principles have remained the same, but as far as how we're able to get at and deliver our treatment has changed. That's evolved as far as we learn more, we know
Sure.
better ways of treatment.
Sure.
And so chiropractic has changed. It has evolved over the years, but the principles of chiropractic being the critical nature of the spine and the nervous system to proper health and proper function in the body have always remained the same as far as key elements to make sure that musculoskeletal system is functioning at 100%, and then you're at 100%.
And everything's connected.
It's all connected.
So, and as a politician, I have no spine, so really, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing here. It's amazing.
It was B.J. Palmer who said that crooked rivers and crooked spines were all due to the path of least resistance. So.
Oh, I like that. That's interesting. So your hands are like insured by Lloyd's of London.
They are. There's a couple people here at the office that keep an eye on them at all times.
Is that right? That's like magic. I love it. I love it.
So we do most of our work with our hands here, though. We do.
Of course you do, yeah.
So let me give you the rest of the
let's
tour.
go. Let's continue, folks. Thanks, guys. More than 15 years in Geneva.
Right.
And you began in a little tiny cozy home.
We did.
Just east of the river.
Just east of the river,
Yeah.
just right across from Munchie Peas Restaurant.
Exactly.
That's where we started.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Best
people would go to
gyros.
Munchie Peas, then come over to your place, right?
Well, we would, that's where we'd spend our lunch over
Is that
there.
right?
Having a gyro over at Munchie Peas. And, we started there 15 years ago in it was a 1,200 square foot office.
Yeah.
Then we moved from there to our space over on Britcher,
Right.
which is a little bit bigger, 1,500 square
Right.
feet. And then recently we moved here this past November, and now we've got 3,500 square feet.
Wow.
And we've just grown as the needs of our patients have grown.
Sure,
So
sure.
you talked a little bit earlier about the evolution of chiropractic.
Right.
And really what we've learned is that just as far as what it takes to really get somebody well and to get them to stay well. And one of the things that you hear about with chiropractic care, or sometimes as far as patients will mention, is that, well, once I go, I have to go all the time.
Sure.
And one of the reasons for that is that we're dealing with areas of dysfunction. The spine's, they've injured an area and it's weak. And so manually we're able to help get it moving better. We're able to, as far as have our massage therapist work on the tight muscles and the muscle sprains or strains. But unless you start doing some of the rehabilitative work, so corrective exercises and stretches, and can also show somebody a better way of doing things, so maybe that they're not re-injuring themselves.
So does that include occupational therapy as well? And
not so much occupational, although what we will do as far as we do look at as far as what they're doing on a daily basis, what kind of repetitive movements, what kind of repetitive stresses that they're doing, how do we address those, how can we move better, how can we identify risks and lessen that risk.
Doing things correctly.
Doing things correctly. Doing them better so that you're not constantly doing the same thing over and over.
And then once you injure yourself, you realize, I haven't been doing it correctly.
Right.
So your services provide that sort of education that everybody needs.
Right.
And you said earlier, it's not just, you don't come in once and problem solved. Just like you don't go run once a year and say, I'm in shape.
Right. Well, it depends.
Which I do.
It depends on how long it's been there.
Okay.
If you've got somebody who's had a recent injury, so let's say that they were healthy before, but they've just had a recent injury. It's the first episode, and we get to it quickly. Then a lot of times, recovery's quicker. But the longer the problem's been there, more often than not, the more difficult it is going to be to correct, because there's layers of things going on.
It's all built up.
It's built up. So you've got scar tissue, you've got a lot of things going on in there. So it just depends on the individual, but there's no one size fits all. As far as there's no just, do these three things and, it's going to take care of it for everybody.
Well, it's like medicine in general, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the individual.
Absolutely.
And that's what I would say one of the biggest differences about what we do here, and what really is a big reason for why we built this facility, is looking at it's patient-driven. Instead of being diagnosis-driven or even being technique-driven. And so what I mean by that is that, a lot of times somebody will go somewhere and they get a diagnosis. You've got a rotator cuff injury.
Right.
And that means, we have a set of treatments that we do for the rotator cuff. And they're going to take you through
protocol.
Here's the protocol.
Yeah.
We're going to follow the physician's desk reference and take you through the steps. Or somebody has their favorite technique that they like to do. They're really good at doing, as far as active release technique, for example, which is a great technique, but there's a protocol for how they do it. Ours is patient-driven, so we do what a process that I call chiropractic CSI. We're going to crime scene investigate what's going on here, and then we're going to start treatment based on what we found. But every time you come in, we're going to reassess. We want to see, how are you responding? So based on how you're responding drives what our treatment's going to be. Because if you're not responding, if you're not getting better, then I want to know why you're not getting better, right? And I want to start, if I need to make a change, then we want to do it right then and there and see, okay, did this make a difference? Did it make it better? Did it stay the same? Or is it making it worse?
Right.
Where it's like you're coming in and you're going, you know what? I felt like that maybe it's a little bit more sore. Okay, so we know we need to change that. So it's driven by results. What's going on with you? And it's a process every visit that we're looking at. And so when we looked at this facility, as far as what do our patients need? Well, sometimes things are feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. My pain is gone. Now we want to look at, okay, is it stable? Is it staying where it needs to? Because maybe now is the right time that we need to start working on some corrective exercises. Or maybe you're like, you know what? I was at this class, and I took this class over at the Park District, and now it's bothering me. But in telling me how it was started to bother you, kind of tells me some of the mechanisms of injury. So it's like, okay, well, for example, kind of bending back, extension of the back is what aggravates it. Well, then now that tells us, okay, some of the things that we need to do to start working on strengthening your back, because it's important that you be able to move, but we want you to be able to move healthy.
Of course. So your listening skills are as important as your medical skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's an important factor.
So the majority, well, and it was one of my old mentors that said that, if you just listen, most of the time your patient's going to tell you what they need.
Sure.
You just have to listen. And it's listening to, those key factors as far as like, when I do this, this makes it better. When I do this, this makes it worse. When I sleep in this position, I feel good in the morning.
Are patients better than or now at sharing that information with you?
They are.
Have you seen that change over the years, or is it you have to kind of pull it out sometimes?
I don't think you really have to pull it out. What I have found is that the internet can be a dangerous thing.
Yeah, well, I have it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you get those individuals that they're on the internet, and a little bit of information can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
And so it's really helping our patients educate them as to what's going on with their bodies, with their case.
Got it.
And it all goes towards, our goal is to get them better with us doing the least amount that we have to do. We don't want them to be dependent on just what we're doing.
Okay.
We want to get them healthy so that they're staying healthy and that they're doing the right things to keep themselves healthy outside of the office.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So this room we're in here.
This room right here, so this is our open gym.
I love it.
Area, and so
24/7, I can come over here and work out tonight?
You betcha. We'll take you through. I think
If you find me on the floor in the morning, don't panic.
So we'll take you through. We'll have you come in. I think we got a yoga class, which you'd like tonight.
I would like that. I need to stretch out more.
As far as its flexibility, mobility, and motion. So we have this area. We do a lot of yoga classes, core strengthening, stretching, and then also individual classes. So we'll do different things, or individual workout sessions where we're working on, that weak link, that area that is leading to that problem, right? As far as, so in our assessment, we want to see, okay, where are those weak links? What do we need to do to make it better?
Sure.
Right? So if you've got an issue, then we can work on customized exercises. We're going to move you through. We're going to challenge things as you're getting better. We want to challenge it more to see how much better is it, And our goal is to get you to the point where you can do whatever you want to do. And so a lot of the things that we do, and we look at just the nature. You were talking about how has chiropractic changed? I would say it's the things that happen after the adjustment.
Okay.
And some of the assessment tools, a lot of the assessment tools that we used before the adjustment, that's changed the most.
Got it.
So how do we find those problem areas?
Sure.
And that's where, as far as digital X-ray imaging is fantastic for being able to see structurally what's going on.
Wow. Now, do you teach the yoga classes? Does your image appear on this screen and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, relax"?
That's right.
I like it. Now, how many folks will come in and you want to limit the class to its, so it's manageable?
Right, between 5 to 10 people.
Perfect.
We want small classes because our yoga instructors are looking to make sure that you're doing everything correctly.
You want to have that attention.
You want to have that attention. You want to make sure that that people are doing it. They're doing it properly. We're also here on site too. So as far as the instructors and myself work hand in hand as far as to look at this is what Mrs. Jones has going on.
Got it.
And so we want to work on as far as improving her range of motion. But she's limited in these areas, so these are things that we want to avoid or look out for. So it's more customized, so that you can do alternate positions and things like that with the yoga class or with the core strengthening class. Even though it's more of a group, it's small enough that you can do more individual treatment.
I like that term, customized.
Customized.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Because everybody's a little bit different, and so you want to make sure that they're doing the right exercises.
Okay.
And then we also have breakouts where it's just myself and the patient, where we're working on different assessments to see, how are they moving, where are they at, and then as far as what corrective exercises they need to be working on. And so we have this area designed just for that, and so.
That's nice. And your patients range in age from?
They range in age from 2 to 92.
2 to 92?
2 to 92.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That's amazing.
It just depends, as far as, what they've got going on. So,
sure.
When you're dealing with that, as far as with the back and the joints of the back and neck and the muscles there, Things happen. Life happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life
Certainly
happens. I've got 4 kids.
Wow.
And,
That alone puts strain on your muscles, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I'll tell you, kids are hard on your back.
Exactly.
They
No
are.
kidding.
So we see lots of parents, and I get it. Anybody who's
you've been there. You are there.
Yeah, right. So anybody who's carried the little baby carrier, or
Sure.
they've, lifted them into the car seat, and they've tried to get that 4-point holster on there when they're bracing back and they're fighting you, and and all you want to do is just get everybody loaded into
Exactly.
the vehicle, right? We're just leaving Swedish days after we had to park 2 miles away. Right?
Precisely.
Right?
Now we understand we're going to go visit with Heidi.
Yes.
And you're going to show us your magic,
We're
right?
going to see a little bit of the
This
magic.
will be cool.
All right.
And Heidi, I understand, has had significant muscular issues.
Well, Heidi.
Just for today.
Just for today. Well, Heidi is one of our therapists.
Excellent.
Come on back. And
This is cool. Now I love what's all this about? Explain this. This is just like soothing and calm, or
Absolutely. Well, and that's what. So.
did you steal this from Amsterdam? What's going on here?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. That's what this piece right here is actually a local artist here in Geneva. So Jim Jenkins.
Oh, of course. Oh my God, the guy's awesome.
Yeah. So Jim, we commissioned this with him. He did this piece for us. It's
He
titled.
lives right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's
he's a wonderful man and a great artist.
He is.
So he titled this piece "From the Heart," and it really kind of talks about, this was his kind of interpretation of what we do here at the office. And
That's neat.
So if you'll notice, it actually spells out health as we come through here.
I did not notice that.
And so he's got the heart here in the middle. So the heart is at the center of everything we do.
Got
We
it.
put a little felt in there because it's heartfelt. A little corny, but
I love it.
But I love it. And but it just talks about, as far as, so here we've got some of our old patient X-rays, and
Is that what that is? Really?
yeah, these are old X-rays, and he's actually hidden different pieces in here as far as, so that's the Chinese symbol for patience right up there.
Oh.
Right over here is the Chinese symbol for chaos, and so it's kind of talking about, when our
We should
bodies
have one of these at
healthy,
city council meetings.
yeah, a lot of chaos. Well, that's what you should talk to Jim.
I know Jim. He's a good man.
He would love to do it.
I didn't know. That's cool. It says health.
It says health here.
And God, your name. I mean, Hart. I know it's spelled differently, but that's like perfect.
Right. And so it talks about the journey, as far as, so where people, when they're in pain and when they have discomfort, their bodies are in chaos. Maybe their lives are in chaos because now you're not able to move, you're not able to function as well as you could have, and yet you still have a full plate of things that you've got to get done, right? As far as, so everything has kind of been turned upside down. And so that starts the journey, and then as he moved through here, he talks about vita brevis, which is, small steps, as far as just short increments of time. And he's got some of the instruments that we use here. You've got my hand there. You've got me actually making notes on on the X-ray, but talking about that incremental changes start to move you back towards better health.
Got it.
And so then we end up all the way over here with tabula rasa and vitality, meaning that, now you've got that clean bill of slate. So we talked about, as far as why we do some of the exercises, what we do with the adjustment to get you so that you're moving well and staying well. So now you're pain-free, there's nothing holding you back, and you've got a clean slate. You can do whatever you want to do. And that's really our goal, is to get you from the point where, life's kind of throwing you a curveball.
Sure.
Right? You woke up, you went to bed, you felt fine. You woke up the next morning, you can't move, and you're not sure exactly what you did, but you still got to work. You've got to get the kids to school. You've got meetings, right? And so everything's been kind of thrown upside down. Life's throwing you a curve. You come here, we help you work through that. Find out what's causing the problem, and then we want to show you, as far as, so that what led up to this, so that you can do things to make sure that doesn't happen again.
You must have a file cabinet full of thank you notes.
We've got a lot.
That's awesome.
And
that's got to be the most rewarding thing.
It really is. It really is, because before I was a doc, I was a patient, so I know what it's like to be on that end.
Absolutely.
And it was one of those that I was in grad school at DePaul at the time, and when I injured myself, I lived with pain every day.
Yeah.
You're still going. I'm riding the red line down to DePaul. You're going through your classes. I would be at the back of the lecture hall just kind of pacing because I couldn't sit down for that long.
Really?
Yeah. And I wrestled at the University of Illinois, so I'd always been in pretty good shape.
What weight class?
158.
Oh.
So
Big Ten champion?
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's been, if you haven't been a champion by
I love it.
after 20 years of graduating, then, then you
Yeah, well, what the heck?
I get
2
better
decades
every
in
year.
college is a good thing.
That's right. A couple more years and I'll have an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, exactly. Not bad.
But, so I'd always been athletic. And and when I injured myself, I was actually training for the Chicago Marathon. But when that happened to me, it really, flipped my life upside down.
I was gonna say.
And so for really the whole time I was at DePaul, for a year and a half, I lived with this pain.
Ugh.
I went through physical therapy and I went through kind of the traditional route, and it just didn't work for me. I wasn't getting better. It was, just staying the same. And it wasn't until a friend insisted that I go to a chiropractor, and they were actually seeing the chiropractor. They're like, "Why don't you come with me?
Just give it a shot.
Just give it a
try
shot.
it out.
I think it can help you, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll try anything.
Sure.
And so, but that decision to go with my friend to the chiropractor really changed my life. And today I don't have any pain.
Wonderful.
And so a big part of what I do here is really trying to bring that same benefit
That's cool.
to my patients.
It's very personal.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As far as I hate to see people waiting in pain. As
Yeah.
far as so, we make it. We really do make a really strong effort to make sure that nobody's waiting out there. As far as we try to get you in right
Sure,
away.
sure.
We see a lot of emergency patients. So if they call in, they say, this happened. We're not going to. If we can do anything to keep you from waiting, to keep you from being in pain, we're going to get you in. And we're
Do you
gonna
ever
take care of it.
wrestle any of your patients to the floor? Or something? You're doing it wrong.
No.
Good.
My wrestling days, as far as now, I just wrestle the kids.
Good.
Now I just wrestle the kids. But, there's sometimes, as far as with, sometimes I feel like we have to wrestle on getting people to do their exercises and
Indeed.
change those habits.
Yeah, you're looking at a guy right here. Yeah, exactly. So we go check.
let's
see how Heidi's doing.
Yeah, let's see how Heidi's doing.
Okay, we've made our way through the Olympic caliber training room.
Actually, the
Wrestler for the University of Illinois. I'm going to stick with that theme.
Yeah. All right. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned the Olympics, though, because the head of the Olympic training facility, as far as the chief doctor there, is a chiropractor.
Yes, he is.
And so
I used to work for the U.S. Olympic Committee.
Awesome.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah. But so you knew that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, that's what, 90% of Olympic athletes are under chiropractic care.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as some of the assessments that we use are the very same assessments that Olympic athletes are getting.
Okay.
They're the same assessments that you're using for professional athletes to determine where do they need to be in care.
Right.
So there's lots of different stages. And depending on how high your level of activity is, it's going to be even different stages, right?
Sure.
So an Olympic athlete, day-to-day activities might not have any pain, but when they're having or showing their dysfunction is when they're performing at a very high level.
Got it.
So you've got to be able to assess them at that level. So so many of the tests that we do here are actually the same tests that are used there, and it's this filter that tells us where do we need to go with care. And again, it's that patient-driven. It's what you're telling me.
Listening to, exactly.
It's listening to you. It's listening to what's causing the problem. So, for example, as far as like when we're working on one of our chiropractic tables here, or we're in the chair, that might not cause you any. You might not have any issues at that point. But when we start putting you through some of the exercises
Sure.
that we're assessing, now we're starting to see it. So it just helps us to see, okay, where do we need to go? But it's all based on the information you're giving me,
Got it.
not based on me following a recipe, me following just
like
a
it.
protocol.
I like
So
it.
it's
So yesterday when I tried to run the 4-minute mile and my heart stopped,
right?
that was just foolish.
Well, but did you actually get there? How close did you get?
About a quarter mile.
There you go. There you go. In 4 minutes.
Not bad.
No, you're right.
Exactly. Yeah, not bad at all. So Heidi, thank you for joining us today. The trained massage therapist is going to work with Dr. Hart so that all of you can see and experience what you do.
Excellent. So this room right here, this is our exam room. And this is really where that chiropractic CSI starts. And so we're going to see what's going on as far as we need to find out where's this dysfunction coming from.
Okay.
As far as somebody came in, they've got an ache or pain. Now we need to know what's causing it. And we need to determine, one, are they a chiropractic case? is this the right place for them to be, or do we need to find them, another referral for maybe they've got something else going on that's not musculoskeletal. They might have something going on where it's an organ issue.
Okay.
They could even have something where it's a kidney stone that they're passing, or they could have something where we've had patients where we've determined that there's something else non-organic as far as like cancer. We've had,
really?
Yeah, and we found it. They came in. We could tell that there was more going on here than just a neuromusculoskeletal, and we got them the help that they needed.
Wonderful.
And so it's, even if it's not a chiropractic issue, we can help try to get you to that place that you need to go.
Perfect.
Instead of just ignoring the symptoms. So somebody's having headaches, and they're covering it up, and they're taking Advil or Tylenol,
Sure.
or maybe Imitrex. They've been having migraine headaches for a while, and they're covering up the pain. Well, there's a reason for that. Your body's trying to tell you something.
Okay.
And so right here is where we're going to assess, is this a chiropractic issue? If it is, then we're going to determine the right course that we need to start out on. If it's not, we want to find out where you need to go next so that they can determine what's going on.
So this is the beginning of the health journey.
This is the beginning.
I like it.
And so we've got Heidi here, who's one of our therapists. As far as we work together every day, as far as massage therapy is a big part of what we do, because we're dealing with the neuromusculoskeletal system.
Okay.
So on the chiropractic side, we're working with the joints, the misalignments, and the function there. On the myofascial side, we're working on as far as those muscles that are connecting to the joints and making sure that they're functioning appropriately. But because of Heidi's work, it's very physical, and so it takes a toll on her body. So she gets chiropractic care, as we all do.
Interesting.
So one of the things that we're going to look at as far as with the CSI, and an important tool of chiropractic, is we're going to take a series of x-rays to determine as far as structurally what's going on in there. So we know as far as what we're working on. It also aids in as far as what kind of adjustment that we'll do, and how we go about correcting it. When we look at as far as what a healthy spine is, we want to see, your spine's a weight-bearing structure. So we want to see, is everything balanced? So when we look at our normal here, we see that the hips are level, the spine should be nice and straight, shoulders should be level, the neck should be straight, everything's nice and balanced, so there's even pressure.
Why do I feel such pressure to stand up straight?
Right? When we look at Heidi's here, we can see that the left shoulder is a little bit lower than the right shoulder, and we've got a pretty good curvature here in the lower back here. Here's the right side, here's the left side. We can see the hips are a little off. And so that all creates biomechanical stress on the joints, which from time to time give her trouble. And so one of the things that we're going to do, so we look at the x-ray, we're also going to look at as far as how is the spine moving. So we want to assess movement of the joints.
And it's important to note that you're assessing this through touch.
Right. Right, so we're feeling you've got 24 movable joints of the spine, and we want to see how are they moving, one compared to the other. And as we're traveling up and down here, to find out which areas do we need to work on, because our goal is to find where the trouble spots are, work on those areas, and leave the rest of it alone.
Okay.
So, you've got 24 movable joints, 26 as far as if you count the 2 sacroiliac joints down here, and not all of them are dysfunctional. Most of them are doing exactly what they need to do, and many of them are actually under more stress because they're compensating for these injured areas. But so we want to find out where those dysfunctional spots are, work on those, leave the other ones alone so that they can do what they're already doing, and let them recover. I'm going to have you bend forward here. So we're also going to do some tests. Come on up, where we're checking it as far as emotion when they're moving it. So that's kind of a dynamic test there for the lumbosacral region.
And what you're doing now is what you do. You're not. This isn't pretend. This is exactly what you would do for any patient.
This is what we do as far as, so we're going to assess range of motion. We're also going to use some instrumentation. So this instrument right here measures inflammation around the joints. So we're going to look to see, is there any, as far as just like if you sprained your ankle or your wrist.
So if I did free orca.
It's actually a taser.
Sorry, this is, okay.
But what this is going to do...
This is all HIPAA compliant, folks.
That's right, all HIPAA compliant. But what we're looking for is areas of inflammation. So there's a heat sensor here and here, And you're going to see the needle's going to deflect.
Oh yeah, look at that.
To where the heat's coming from.
Oh, okay.
So
and heat is inflammation.
Heat's a sign of inflammation.
Got it.
It just helps us to further find out where do we need to be working.
Okay.
Because our goal is to, is to find the ones that we need to work on and leave the other ones alone. Because the last thing you want to do is work on one area and actually create a problem somewhere else.
Sure.
And so if you're working in the wrong area, there's a good chance that you could actually create an issue that wasn't there before.
Wow.
So we want to see, so we're going to look as far as to see, any inflammation coming off the spine. And I know that Heidi has, as far as...
And you're marking that with the indelible ink.
Yes, it's permanent ink here. That way, I only have to mark it once.
That's true. So when they complete, when they return, it's there.
It's actually a wax pencil, so it comes off with water. So we're seeing there. All right.
And you sensed inflammation in that location?
You could see, yeah, there was a little bit of inflammation there, and we can see and then when I check it as far as range of motion, I can feel as far as the restriction here. And then when I look at the x-ray, I'm going to look to confirm as far as what's going on, and I can see as far as structurally how the joint's misaligned here, which tells me then how I need to go about correcting that area.
Interesting.
And I'm going to have Heidi come on over to the table here.
Oh boy.
I'm going to leave the table down for you, see. So, now we've assessed in the chair, we've checked range of motion, we've done an infrared scan as far as to see where the hot spots are. We have a film, so we're building a case. Where do we need to work?
Got it.
As far as where do we need to be working at, that's at CSI. Who are our culprits? Is it a muscle? Is it a joint? Is it a combination? So we kind of have our list of usual suspects. We want to narrow it down.
Okay.
Now we've done our assessment. We know, we can feel that there's a restriction here as far as as far as T3 for Heidi, her right sacroiliac joint, and then also left as far as T11 here. So we're going to work on those areas.
You know all that.
And you can see it right there on the x-ray too.
Of course you can.
So there's T3. There we go. There's T10. And now we're going to work on that right sacroiliac joint.
Feeling better already, Heidi?
Feel great.
Heidi is not a paid actress.
There we go. All right. How's that feel?
Great.
So it's you don't hear a pop necessarily,
You'll hear a little audible there,
Okay.
so a little pop there.
or like a big audible if it was me.
You might.
Mother of
Right.
Okay.
You might. It just depends. That's what. But what you're hearing. So when you do hear something, you're going to hear that joint kind of release. So it's stuck, and it's actually a little bit of air just being released as the
Okay.
joint kind of moves. But it's very similar to just kind of pressing your hands together and kind of pulling it apart.
Interesting.
But those joints have become stuck. So that's the only reason why you would hear that
Got it.
in there. And so
So how often do you have the adjustments?
Like 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, no kidding. Because you're working, so it's
right,
it's
exactly.
you're working with weight and all that stuff, and
Right. Well, just
Wow.
it's more physical, my job.
yeah,
yeah.
it's
Well,
fascinating.
and it's really not one of the things that when you're looking at what's gonna put you at risk
Sure.
for injuring yourself.
Just getting up
right?
in the morning.
Sometimes, right? It's
Yeah.
like sometimes just crossing the street or heading to those council meetings.
Exactly.
Or heading
He's really picked up on this. I like this.
That's right.
Heidi, thank you very much. And I'm glad you're feeling better. Well done, Dr. Hart.
Thank you.
Okay. Now remember, take care of yourself. Okay? Okay.
Thank you, Heidi.
Folks, I'm going to be blatantly honest here with Dr. Hart. And I've shared with you earlier
Yes.
a little bit of back pain.
Right?
Pretty much my life is overrated. Not in great shape.
Right?
Sometimes I'll move and it's like, whoa, the pain is just excruciating.
Right.
I work through it and then I assume, things are fine. Continue on. I'm not doing the right thing, am I?
Well, you know what? You're not that different than most.
You're not long for this earth.
Really, I mean, what you just told me is something that we hear all the time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's like life happens,
Exactly.
right? And we move on, and one of the last things that we take care of is ourselves.
True.
We're busy at work. We spend, a colleague of mine wrote an article on, is sitting the new smoking?
I saw the article. I read the article.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Right.
You're supposed to get up, even on airplanes now.
Yeah.
Get up and move around.
Yeah, if you calculated the hours that you spend sitting waiting,
Right.
as far as whether we're on working on our computers at our desk, or we're just waiting at a red light as far as in our car, you can't go anywhere in Chicago in less than an hour.
Exactly.
Right? And so we're sitting all the time. And because of that, our spines are always being compressed.
Okay.
And they're designed to move. And so, one of the things that we work on is getting you moving better, and working on different things. We talk about taking frequent breaks to stretch so that you're not, as far as, so you're sitting kind of in chunks.
I know what you mean.
There you go. Right. That's it. Yeah, good. You just But
So if I come up to you at a red light, are you singing and dancing in your car?
well,
Is that you?
That's me. That's me. I'm moving.
I like it.
I'm moving. I'm lucky, as far as I live here in town. So
Yeah,
it's
you got a nice commute.
Yeah, my commute's like 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome. So I can go home, grab a bite to eat for lunch. But what you just shared though is what we hear all the time.
All the time.
And usually by the time we're seeing the person, this has been going on for years.
And it has.
And they're telling us that, what, I've had this for years. It's been bothering me. It's just not getting any better.
Right.
And I want to do something about
Okay.
it, And so now they're coming here. We've CSI'd what's going on.
Right.
We determined that, what, there's some joints in your back that are dysfunctional. And so we might do something as far as like use our spinal decompression machine here.
The spinal decompression machine.
Our spinal decompression unit right
Whoa.
here, it really is just the most advanced traction there is.
This is also a wine cooler.
It's a very expensive wine.
It is a very expensive.
This costs more than my first house.
Wow.
But what it's designed to do is get the pressure off of the low back, the joints of the low back, the disc. So somebody who's got a bulging disc. So right here we're looking at the different levels of the lumbar spine. So whether they've got a disc herniation or bulging at L5 or L4 or L3, we're able to target that area specifically and get the pressure off. So before, you would have traditional traction, the whole body's just getting stretched.
Yeah.
And so maybe 10% of the stretch is actually getting to where you want it.
Oh, okay.
Now 90% of the stretch is right where you want it.
Concentrated.
And so you're using less stretch, which makes it a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
Many of our patients actually just sleep while they're in here. And it's pretty common that we'll hear something like, this is the first time I've slept in weeks because
Really?
I've been living with this pain. That's what the decompression's used for.
Wow.
We added this to our office back in 2005.
Oh,
and
okay.
the reason for that was that we had cases where up to that point, we were only able to manage their pain. We were able to get them feeling better, but the pain never completely went away.
Got it.
When you've got damage to a disc, a bulging disc, until you get that disc to withdraw, to move back within its normal boundary, the pain's there. So we were able to help that with chiropractic, with massage therapy, and also looking at different ergonomic things that people could do to help kind of support that injured area. But until we added the decompression, we weren't able to get it to completely go away.
Interesting.
Now, for 90% of our decompression cases, we're able to completely abolish that pain
Really?
and get them back to a pain-free life. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a great tool for us. It's really helped us with those cases because it's hard when you're a doc and you want to get somebody better.
Sure.
And they're coming to you because they feel better, but it's still not completely gone.
Okay.
And we shared that same frustration. So when we came across the decompression,
This is where you add the flux capacitor.
yes, we actually go back to the
Proven
time.
this to 1982.
Well, we actually go back to before you hurt your back. So
that
we
right?
stop
Do
you.
ya?
Yeah.
Stop-
So
yeah.
if you're on the ladder, we're
Don't
like,
worry
no.
about it. So you expect me to get up on this thing?
Yes, but we're gonna get you ready. All right. So
Stay tuned, folks. This could be my last time on business meeting.
all right. So how does it feel?
Well, actually, it feels good. The tightness around the waist is awesome. Hello, Geneva. I like it.
So what we're gonna do is just a light stretch, but this is our spinal decompression unit here.
Doc, can you stretch me to NBA height?
Not the first time.
Not the first time.
But we will make you, as far as, we will get you standing taller and moving better.
The D League, huh?
All right. So one of the things, so you're going to feel a slight stretch.
Okay.
Just about 25 pounds of pressure. This button right here actually stops the treatment. So that's one thing that, as far as before we ever start, you can stop the treatment at any time.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
As far as, it's just there. It's just an added safety precaution. The first time somebody gets stretched is always kind of the one that they're most apprehensive about.
Okay, got it.
They don't know. They're in pain. And so this is something new.
This is cool.
And for the most part, you're just going to feel just a very gentle stretching. And like I said, most of our patients really actually just kind of fall asleep. This is the first time they're getting rest.
But someone's always in here with you, though, correct?
As far as somebody is always just right around the corner.
Got it. Okay.
So somebody is nearby. We're not going to leave you on here and go to lunch and come back.
That's good.
Now we might, but as far as our regular, our normal patient, we wouldn't. And this machine is actually we thank government layoffs for this machine.
No kidding.
It was designed in near Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of the engineers that worked on designing this and building this had a little free time on their hand because of cuts in the space program. So
that's a great story.
So we really do have some, as far as some government cutbacks to thank for this technology. The bearings used in this machine and also the processor that's attached here are all were used by the space program either to direct.
Okay.
So the microprocessor here can adjust 1,700 times per second if it needs to. It's the same processor that they use on guided missiles.
Wow. Now, is it stretching now?
It's actually stretching now.
Wow.
And so it's going to cycle through. You're going to see it stretching right now. We're at a resting phase. So it's going to stretch, then it's going to release, and stretch again. So it creates a pumping action that helps take the pressure off those injured areas, but it also hydrates the tissues.
Interesting.
It pulls that part of the disc that's sticking out back in.
Wow.
And we've actually seen, as far as on pre and post MRIs, where you can see on the pre-MRI when they're coming in and they have pain, that there's a bulging disc, and afterwards you'll see that bulging has gone away, as far as in many cases. Where you're just getting the pressure off those nerves. And so we've got 5 more minutes there.
This is cool, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, for our patients that are facing surgery, this is a great first step. Because the research shows that over 88% of the time, this will take care of that bulging disc.
Really?
Yeah, and in our
to avoid surgery altogether.
And even those cases where we've had somebody who's had a failed back surgery, there's many times where we can still help them with this, because it all comes down to finding out what's causing that problem. Because you can have a bulging disc and not have back pain. So just because you have that, so we've got to determine, is it really, just because the bulging disc is there, is it really the one that's causing the problem in the first place?
And are there age restrictions to this type of procedure?
Well, you have to be big enough to be on the table.
Got it, okay.
So,
and I am definitely big enough to be on the table.
You are. You're not the biggest patient we've had on this table either. We've had, as far as patients as big as 6'6", 500 pounds on here.
No kidding.
No kidding. So it can handle big or small. It can take care of it, and it's customizable and adjustable to make sure that we're giving you the right treatment on here. So again, it's not that we don't just hit a button and it's just a cookie cutter type treatment. It's going to be we're zeroing in on what is your problem area. Where do we need to get the pressure off? And we want to see, one, how you're doing before and after treatment.
Hello, Houston.
Going to have you hold on to your microphone here.
Oh, yes, yeah.
We're going to slide the cushion out from underneath your knees here. All right.
My God, I have absolutely no abdominal muscles.
So that's how much we stretched you right there.
Really? Can't even fit in there anymore,
Yeah,
can
right,
I?
see?
Now here's where you yell, "He's alive!" Oh, that's really cool.
Just bringing you up. How's it feel?
I'm better than ever. This is awesome. It feels great.
All right, now what I'm going to have you do is just push with your elbows on the armrest
Like
there.
that?
Yep, as far as on the top, and just kind of push yourself forward. There you go. And come on up.
Wow.
I'm going to have you come on down. And we'll get you.
Am I hooked up to anything?
Nope. You're. There you go.
I feel taller and better. God.
Look at that. You are.
Look at that. It's amazing.
That is.
Look at
That is amazing.
Tim Conway, ladies and gentlemen. That's cool.
Yeah.
Can I wear this the rest of the day?
You know, I think you should wear it to the next chamber.
I think I
meeting.
should.
The next chamber.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, meet and greet.
That's right.
What happened to Burns? I like it. Do you want to tell everybody how do we get a hold of you, where you're located, your website, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So
And I'm going to still stay in this comfy outfit.
well,
I've never felt so close to you before, Doctor.
You look great. You look
Yeah,
great.
thanks.
This way we can make sure that you're,
Oh, that's what the kids wear now, so they don't run away.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, see?
This has been awesome. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
So if you want to come out and see us, we're at 1803 West State Street here in Geneva, just off of Route 38. A great place as far as our phone number, 630-262-1421, or go to our website, hartchiropractic.com. Great place to learn more about our office, what services we offer. We also have a number of video testimonials from patients, so you can kind of hear what some of our patients are saying about us.
That's
and
wonderful.
we look forward to meeting you.
Thank you, Dr. Hart.
Thank you.
And thanks to your team as well.
Absolutely.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in. This has been Business Beat. The tall Kevin Burns signing off.